And
We would expect no less.
Why don't you start us with a little nigun, and then we'll do our first prayer. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's great to see everybody here. All your beautiful faces in our room together. Shabbat's a time where things kind of change. We enter into a different zone. And though we see angels surrounding us all the time when we walk on the street, on Shabbat, we're surrounded by some angels that are harder to see at other days of the week. We'll start our first prayer with the angel song.
B'Shem Adonai Elohei Yisrael B'yemini Michael U'shmoli Gavriel U'milfanai Uriel U'me'acharei Raphael Ve'al roshi Shechinarei. In the name of Adonai, the God of Israel. On my right is Michael, on my left is Gabriel. In front of me is Uriel, and behind me Raphael. And all around, surrounding me, Shechinarei. B'Shem Adonai Elohei Yisrael B'yemini Michael U'shmoli Gavriel U'milfanai Uriel U'me'acharei Raphael Ve'al roshi Shechinarei. Ve'al roshi Shechinarei.
If you're dealing with any kind of illness, or you know anybody with illness, this angel song really says that Raphael was God's healing angel. He's got our back. He's got our back. He's right behind us, supporting and holding us. So we've acknowledged that there are angels all around us. So the least we can do is welcome them. So we're going to welcome the angels now with our Shalom Aleichem song.
השרת מלאכי העליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי העליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ברוני לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי העליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי העליון מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא
Now it's time to light our candles to bring the special Shabbat light into the world, lighting us up, lighting our world, and bringing God's light before our eyes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
We have the privilege, Cantorial and I have the privilege of transmitting the priestly blessing to you from on high, brought down to earth, and sent out through the airwaves to all of you and to all the others who need it. We'll raise our hands in the traditional priestly way and recite Yivarachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God shine his light on you and bring you and let you aware of his presence. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lacha shalom. May God lift you up when you need to be lifted up, and may God bring you wholeness and peace. Amen.
Kein yehi ratzon.
Okay, so Andy's going to continue with the chanting of Psalm 96 and Psalm 99.
And just to mix things up a little bit, this evening we will do the last portion of Psalm 96, starting at Yismechu Hashamayim. And that is as soon as I find a capo for my guitar. There we go. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umelo, Yismeth hashamayim, Yismeth hashamayim, Yismeth hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz.
Beautiful.
And also, at the bottom of this psalm, even the first robins of spring sing out, Exalt Adonai our God, and bow towards God's holy hill. Bomemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu me'hakodsho. Bomemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu me'hakodsho. He kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho.
We reach the very special moment in the Kabbalat Shabbat service where we sing Lecha Dodi. It's kind of an interesting concept. We are welcoming the Shabbat bride, the Shekhinah, but God's presence, the Shekhinah, is always present. We don't need to bring it in on Shabbat. It's always surrounding us. But I guess on Shabbat, we feel a special need to not only welcome the Shekhinah, but also to acknowledge that this God's presence belongs in our homes, that God is always with us. So let's, at the end of this prayer, we even open the door to welcome God's presence into our homes. So it's an acknowledgement that this is the reality, and Shabbat's our time to really embrace this reality.
And as I mentioned earlier, before we formally began our service, I take inspiration from my wife, Rabbi Shana, who pulled this out of her kippah earlier this evening on her service. So in honor of the sun shining over New Orleans for the eclipse in a few days, Chadodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Shmor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, merosh v'kedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tichila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabla. verse 2. Ikrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh bekedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava techila, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabla, lecha dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabla. Verse 5. Toreri, kiva oret kumiori, uri, shirda beri, kavod Adonai, alayich nigla. Chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla. We rise, if we can, to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha uv'tzola, toch emuneh am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabla, chadodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Now we transition to our Mariv service. We've welcomed Shabbat into our homes and into our hearts with this community blessing, to bless this moment that we're together and to bless God for being there with us. Please stand.
Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam ba'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam ba'ed.
Anybody can return to their seats. We will say this blessing to God for generosity of giving us the evening as well as the daylight, to give us time in darkness so that we can be quiet and appreciate things. Wait for the dawn to bring new ideas, new places into our lives. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opening the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly course according to plan. You're creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, God, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim.
Amen.
So in preparation for the Shema, Cantor Andy's going to sing a new prayer for us to open our eyes to the wonder of our lives, and look for the good, not get stuck in the things that aren't right, and be blessed and grateful for the good things in our lives, and be optimistic about our futures.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. And we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We'll continue with Micha Mocha.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זליענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ידי די די, ידי די 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 די, ידי די די די, ידי די 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 די.
And now is our moment for our private prayer, said communally, the Amidah. This is our moment of closest connection with the divine energy circulating through the world, a moment where we visit this place with gratitude, with love and appreciation for all that we've been given. And we say thanks. It's Shabbat. We don't ask for anything. We express gratitude and say thanks, because on Shabbat, it's a taste of the Messianic age. On Shabbat, we should appreciate all that we have and be grateful for it. So if you're able to, please, or if you'd like to, please stand. If not, the prayer still counts. Sitting down, it's the same prayer. It still means just as much. The words don't change whether they're said standing or sitting. But I'm going to stand.
Adonai sefetai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechai metim ata rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach umarid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechai metim berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofe cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, Lishene afar micha mocha bal gevurot umito melach melech memid umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'aman ata lachayot metim baruch atah Adonai mechaye hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukdokshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'imeru Ve'imeru Shalom Imromah Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'imeru, ve'imeru, Amen. Ve'imeru, ve'imeru,
Well, thank you. And bless you, Cantorial, for opening our hearts with your beautiful prayers.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So inspiring and so beautiful. Thank you so much. So tonight I'm going to talk about something special that I really love about Judaism. Of course, I say that all the time. I love this about Judaism. I love that about Judaism. But one of the things I really admire about our tradition is the liturgy, because it's really, really brilliant. It's very wise and brilliant, and it carries the deepest meanings of the Torah in just a few words. It's not like you have to read 52 weeks to get it. You can get it in one prayer service. You can get the central ideas of Judaism in one prayer service. So I want to talk about the Shema tonight, because this is a time where we really need the power of the Shema. And I'll explain that later, what I mean by the power of the Shema. The Shema is recited at a special moment in the service. If we're wearing talit, we put the four corners together. And if we're not wearing talit, or even if we are, we bring the disparate parts of ourselves into wholeness, into oneness, as we speak the prayer. So let's take a few minutes and see what the prayer really tells us, because we're living in a time of divisiveness and conflict. And this prayer, which speaks to the power of one, might offer some solutions to that divisiveness and conflict that we're experiencing. So the first line of the prayer is, we all know this well. Listen, Israel, the Lord is God and the Lord is one. Now, kind of the straightforward teaching about that line is that it was a statement in the Torah, the line occurs in Deuteronomy, that there is one God. And it was an audacious and revolutionary statement, because in the context, its historical context, it was said in a society where every country had its own god or gods. Each god had its own little region, and each god had its own little power of influence. And here the Torah was stating, no, that's not the way it is. There is only one God. There's not a multitude of gods in different regions and with different powers. So that's kind of the straightforward Shema teaching about what the prayer is trying to say. And some people say, well, what's the whole point of it? It's kind of trite nowadays, because the idea that there's only one God is pretty accepted by everyone. But I'm not sure it's so accepted by everyone, because I think a lot of people are worshiping a lot of different things. Some people are worshiping power. Some people are worshiping money. Some people worship athletes. Some people worship actors and actresses. And some people worship the things in their homes. So I think this idea that there's only one God, the idea of our saying it, is really a reminder, even in our modern times, to not get too attached to the trivial things in our lives and not get too attached to the things that are really idols and not the real entity, not really the divine presence in the world. The Hasidic masters had another way of understanding this. And, my training as a Jewish renewal rabbi is in the neo-Hasidic tradition. And the Hasidic rabbis really understood this idea of God being one, is that there was only one thing in the world, and that was God. And that God connected and infused all the things in the world. Everything was connected and everything was part of God. So when we say the first line of the prayer, "Hear, O Israel, God is God, God is one," we're really saying that there is one thing in the world, and that's God, and we're all part of it. We're all a very, very small part of it. And without each one of us, it would be incomplete. One of the central principles of Judaism is that there's diversity in the world, but within that diversity, there's unity. We all are each like colors of the rainbow, and they were all beautiful in our own beautiful color that we provide to the world. But when you put all those colors together, you get an amazing display. When I worked in hospitals, I really came to understand the power of unity arising from diversity. Sure, I was the physician and I was writing prescriptions and ordering tests, but none of the healing would really happen unless all the other people in the hospital worked as a unity. That means the nurses, the pharmacists, the x-ray technicians, the occupational therapists, the physical therapists, and even the transporters that took patients from their room to the x-ray department or to the operating room. It was only when all of this diversity united in a unity that real healing could occur. So when we're saying the Shema, it's calling us to recognize that we're connected to something larger than we are, and we're connected to each other. And our challenge is really to treasure and embrace this teaching, because it's difficult. There are many things in the world that seem so different than we are. But despite that difference, there's the same divine energy flowing through the world and flowing through each of us. And we're all connected to the divine energy. My physician training taught me many things, but one of the things it taught me is that if you really get down to it, we're all composed of the same cells and molecules, and we just express that in a different way exteriorly, but we're all at our central core the same. So this time in history, it's really vital for us to understand and accept the diversity of the world. The world's filled with many different types of people, and there's a lot of conflict in this world right now. So when we say, "Listen, the Lord our God is our God, and the Lord is one," we have to really understand that our world is whole, that despite all this conflict and diversity, there is a wholeness of the world, and we need to project that energy into the world. The Torah's central idea, the central idea of the Torah, repeated more often than any other idea in the Torah, is that you should love your neighbor like yourself. This teaching occurs 22 times in the Torah, in multiple different places. A number of years ago, I read a wonderful book. I don't know whether anyone else read this book, by Bruce Courtney. When I was thinking about giving this teaching, I thought about the book because the book was called The Power of One. Now, I'm not sure whether Bruce Courtney was Jewish or had studied the Shema, but he spoke about the power of unity arising from diversity. What I remember about this book, and I read it a long time ago. In fact, I loved it so much I passed it around to the whole family. And Bhavani and Belle read it. My kids read it. We all read it. We all liked it. And this book is a story about two people from very diverse backgrounds and ethnicities who are living in South Africa, a country with a lot of conflict. And this was before during the time of apartheid, who developed this friendship between each other. And in that friendship, they became the power of one. They became the power of one. And there was a great teaching in this book that I really loved. It was called When You Need to Do, the teacher was talking to his disciple, and he said, when you need to do anything in the world, the first thing you do is first with the head and then with the heart. And by that he meant, if you have something important to sort out and think about, don't let your emotions sweep you up in the moment. Take a minute to start with the head. First go with the head. Think it all through. Think about what you want to do. Think about what's important to you. And then once you've had your plan in, bring your heart to it. Bring all your emotions and all your emotional energy into it. So this Shabbat, I think the power of one is really calling us to go first with the head and think about the world you'd like to create, a world free of divisiveness and free of conflict. Avoid thinking about all of what is wrong and what triggers you. And, between what's going on in the state of Israel, what's going on in our political environment, there's plenty that could trigger us. But try not to get caught up in the muck of all this. Try to think about what your vision of an idealized world would look like. A world where all the disparate energies, ideas, and people are all connected by the divine energy that circulates through the universe, that we attest to when we say the Shema. We say, listen, people, the Lord is God, the Lord is one. So when you get your heart, your head and your heart together, bring all your loving energy into the world, bring it to all the people you meet, bring it to the strangers you might contact on the street, meet them with a smile. Use the power of one. And you just might make the words that we say in the Shema come to fruition. If we all bring these ideas that we want to bring unity to this diversity, we might make the words of the Shema come true. Listen, Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one. Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach, Rabbi. Beautiful.
So we're going to use the power of that oneness, the power of the oneness in our community to say a healing prayer for those who need it. Anyone who would like to remember somebody, please raise their hand and we'll call on you. Karen, don't forget to unmute.
It's just working on it. Andy Hyman, Zan Joyce, Rachel Furman, Karen Harris.
Okay. Anyone else? Go.
Brother-in-law Thor Ritz, my cousin Margot Canterbury, and my grandmother Jacqueline Rennan.
Anyone else? Bhavani, you're muted.
Barry Spiro and Rabbi Victor Gross, Rich Archer.
I want to remember my teachers, Rabbi Marcia Prager and Cantor Jack Kessler. I want to remember Gogo, who's had a rough few weeks and a rough few months, and Liz Green. Anyone else?
And Susan McCoyne.
And Susan McCoyne, right?
I will add the Hyman family, my father Steve, my mom Ellen, my sister Anna.
And I'm going to add all those in the Middle East who are suffering on both sides of the borders, and all those who don't have someone to say a prayer of healing for them. May we bring our thoughts and minds to all those who are sick, who require our healing energies brought into the world.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Isheberach imotenu mekor habrecha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We're part of that divine energy that flows through the universe. That I spoke of in the Shema prayer, which speaks to the wholeness and the oneness of the universe. And the Aleinu prayer is really our time to make our pledge to bring God's like presence into the world with our actions, with the words from our mouth and the use of our hands and our feet, and to make the world a better place by being partners with the divine energy of the universe and surfing the divine energy and bringing it into the world.
And if you are able, please rise. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
On that day, Adonai will become one, and God's name will be one. It will be a great wholeness that descends on the world. So, when we say the Amidah, in the second paragraph of the Amidah, we talk about God bringing life to the dead. Bringing life to the dead. God has the power to bring life to the dead. And God has the power to wake the dead from the dust. And but we have some powers as well in this regard. And one of the ways we wake the people from the dust and bring the people we've lost back to life is by remembering them. And this is our prayer of remembrance. It's the orphans Kaddish, the Kaddish that acknowledges that we've lost some people, and this is our way to bring them back for a moment. So does anyone have anybody specifically they'd like to remember tonight who has an anniversary of a death? Go. Please unmute, though.
Makiko Lowenthal.
My great uncle Harry Lids.
Harry
Okay.
Litz. Renee. Please unmute, Renee.
My son, Harry Mishkin.
Polly,
Polly.
Makiko Lowenthal, Patricia Sachs, Diane Walco, and Estelle Walco, my mother. It's her yard site.
Hmm.
enter.
I will add Rabbi Mel Young, colleague of my wife's and dear sweet man that actually some of us met a few months ago, who just recently succumbed to an illness.
Okay, I'm going to stand while I say this prayer, if everybody would like to stand with me. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash Me Rabbah, Yalma Divra Kivute, V'yamrik Malchute, V'chayachon, V'yomikon, V'chayev, V'kol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala V'zman Kariv V'imru, Amen. V'hei Shmomo Rabba Mivarak, V'lam Roim Maya. Yit Barach V'yishtabach, Yit Ba'or, Yit Ramam, Yit Naseh, Yit Hadar, Yit Halev, Yit Halal, Shmei Kudusha, B'rechu, Leila Min Kol B'rachata V'shirata, Pesh B'rachata V'nachtamata, Amiran Yalma V'imru, Amen. V'hei Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Dimrama, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
Amen.
We're going to end tonight's Kabbalat Shabbat service with something traditional we haven't done very much since I've been honored to be with you at Beth Ohr, Madonolam, because it really made sense with the idea of God's oneness and God being the master of the world, but we're all part of that. And I love this. There's a part in this this prayer, which is really beautiful. It's very touching for me, where the prayer says, I have nothing to fear, God is with me. And it's just a reminder. And sometimes we all feel very alone. We feel very alone in the world, but we're not alone. We have our friends, we have our family, and we have this divine loving energy that's hard to see and it's hard to perceive, but it's there. It's there, and it's holding us and connecting us all. So, Cantorial, Andy, take it away with your beautiful voice.
Adon olam Hashem alach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chefzo kol zay melech shemo nikra מאחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. ועדו אבקי רוחי בעת ישן והעירה, ועם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא.
God is with me, there is nothing to fear. Lo ira. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll keep the room open for a little while for people to socialize the way we would if we were together in the church, and say hello to people we haven't seen for a while and see how everything's going in everybody's life. And we'll put us all together in one package.
Good. Karen, do we have announcements?
All right, Karen.
Yes, I was just going to say something. First, I want to thank Cantor Andy and Rabbi Shana Chandler Leon for the House of the Eclipsing Sun, and the other little very jazzy 40-ish ditty that you sang, which also a great one. Also,
Which is, believe it or not, a Debbie Friedman piece, just not the one that we ever do. So it's so much fun.
it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
And that, it just jumped into my head. That's an example of what you were talking about, Rabbi, the unification of everything, that we can call on all kinds of music to express the same wonderful,
Right.
important thought. The only other thing to say is our next service will be in 2 weeks on Saturday morning. I didn't think to look up the date. Let me see if I can quickly grab it. And
April 20th.
April 20th. And this is when I believe, I have to laugh at my own thoughts that are elsewhere and not on temple business. We're going to have a little Passover, I'll just say, acknowledgement at this point. Is this correct, Rabbi?
Right. We're gonna do a kind of a Seder-like. It'll be lots of singing, lots of teaching. If and when you don't have another Seder to go to, you're going to feel like you've really experienced a Passover experience, because we're gonna do pretty much what I think the highlights of the Seder are.
Will be Saturday?
That will be
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. And so that's in person.
In
And
person.
we have the space until 2, I think.
Right.
And so we'll figure out what to do. We'll let you know.
When is that?
At what
Our-
time Saturday?
At our usual time, which is 10:30. So we'll just have an extended.
Except we're gonna go a little longer, because we're probably gonna have some food. And the Seder is, I don't know whether people experience Seders that took 5 or 6 hours and went until the morning, but it won't be that. But we will really hit the highlights, and we'll really understand what some of the symbolic places in the Seder are really trying to teach us about our lives, not only back then, but our lives today. Because that's really where we're engaging in. So yeah, I hope everybody can come. I'm really excited about it. And Andy and I have already started to kind of think this through. Yeah, think this
That's
through.
cool. What day is that?
It's April 20th, Saturday morning at 10:30 in our church in Studio City.
Oh,
And-
it's at the church?
20th. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, 10:30.
And that is the home, Gogo, that's our home at the Studio City Unitarian Universalist Church. And we keep our Torahs there and our Ark and our books and everything. So yeah, and details to follow. Details to follow. I will
Details to follow.
Okay, that's before Passover even starts.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. It's going to be at the church, not on the computer.
No, at the church.
At the church.
That's our usual Saturday morning in-person service.
I've just rediscovered you. I had lost you for a long time, and I've just rediscovered you.
Oh, we're
Oh, I wasn't aware that you were having live
yep.
at the
Yeah,
church performances. Great. Great.
Yeah,
So-
that's great, Renee.
Okay, well, so hope you can join us and hope all
Yeah.
of you can join us. That would be great.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it'll be really fun. I think we're going to have a really good experience. And then when we go to our Seder's Monday and Tuesday night, we're going to go with a whole bunch of things inside of our head and heart to carry with us as we journey there.
We'll go to the group view here so that everyone can see everyone. And if you all join me in wishing Shabbat Shalom to the folks on YouTube, we will end that stream so that they don't hear us talking. So, Shabbat Shalom, all the YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us.
And Claudia has stepped up to help us with this, with the Seder logistics. So we're Cantor Andy and I will be
nice.